What transpired at your wedding that caused it to be dubbed legendary? My cousin tried to propose to my best friend at my wedding, and a riot erupted between our families. My cousin asked me if he could propose at my wedding. Obviously, I said no. He was outraged. It was like I had just told him to go die in a hole. For some reason, he thought it was the perfect time to ask his girlfriend, who just so happened to be one of my best friends, to spend the rest of her life with him. Maybe I shut him down a little too harshly or something, but he must have told my entire family. I started getting calls from my aunt, my mom, and even my fiancé, asking me what I had done to my beloved cousin. When I told them what the situation was, they didn't understand. It was my big day. I didn't want my idiot cousin trying to take the situation off of me and my partner. It was our moment. No one seemed to understand that. I stood my ground and insisted that there would be no proposals at my own wedding. And eventually, everyone just gave up trying to shame me for having no sympathy for my cousin's stupid struggle. The wedding day comes. It was beautiful. The ceremony was everything I had dreamed of and more. My new husband was the sweetest man I had ever known. As my father walked me down the aisle, I could see tears streaming down his face. We gave each other the most heartfelt vows. I knew I had made the right decision. Everything fell apart at the reception. I could sense the tension between me and everyone who had been upset at how brutal I had been toward my cousin. My aunt had been shooting me dirty looks all day, as if I had killed him. I chose to ignore it. Nothing was going to stop me from having the best day of my life, but my cousin was determined to try everything he could. On some level, I have to respect what he did next. Being a devoted hater is like subscribing to a religion. Once you committed, you just had to follow through. It was a basic principle. You had to witness the downfall of your enemy, no matter the cost or consequence. When I saw him approach my friend and reach for his back pocket, I knew it was going down. My father had just finished his toast. He had called me a sweet girl who would never hurt a fly throughout my entire life. Little did he know I had been taking my classes in my spare time to hurt more than just a fly, if need be. And in this moment, the need was there. I sprinted across the floor to where my cousin was walking. He tapped my friend on her shoulder. She stood up from her seat at her table as she turned around. All she saw was my righteous fist of justice smashing into my cousin's teeth. I had no fear of this man. He was built like someone who lived off a diet of cigarettes and vapes. The wind could have sent him flying further than I did when his mom caught sight of her son sprawled out across the dance floor. She hopped over her table and came charging at me. I think she threw her purse first, but I'm not really sure. Whatever it was, it crashed into my temple. I was immediately disoriented, but I came just in time to catch my aunt as she tackled me to the ground. We wrestled for a little while before my mom jumped in. She had been on my side, and no one was going to hurt her baby, especially not on her wedding day. She ripped my aunt off of me and basically choked her into the buffet. Now, they were covered in marinara sauce and chocolate. My cousin headed towards me to have it out with me, but my husband came back and threw his skinny body into the expensive 10-layer cake. That got me riled up. I was just staring at the cake in frustration when I felt a thud against my dress. I looked down to see my white dress covered in potatoes and barbecue sauce. I looked back up to see my friend staring at me furiously. She screamed at me, "I can't believe you ruined that for me." Ruined that for her? Why didn't anyone understand that this was my day? For the first time since middle school, I was now in a fight. Eventually, the scene evolved into a movie-style bar fight. Even my grandpa got involved. I think there were things flying everywhere. People are flying everywhere. It didn't stop until the police showed up and started breaking people off from each other. It was a miracle that no one got into serious trouble. Some of the things I saw happening had to be illegal in some way. After our drunken war, there was a schism in my family. This day lives in infamy. Now, those who take my cousin's side don't speak to us anymore. At least I will have some wild story to tell my kids when they ask what our wedding day was like.